Congratulations. Great win. When you light that tower at home, that's our only objective. Nothing else is important. Would we have liked to have scored a few more points? Yes. Would we have liked to help them a little bit less? Yes. Would we have liked to play a few more guys? Yes. Let's plan on that next week. We got to get better each week. We got to do that. So if you're disappointed, you can't be disappointed with a win. I'll make sure we do that. They got a good football team. Give the quarterback credit. He's a good player. He made a lot of plays with us in his face and throwing the ball back. So that's the best Wyoming team we've seen, and we probably played them better than we played. We can be really good. We won the kicking game. We won the turnover ratio. And still have eons we can improve. We can get so much better. We got to practice hard next week. We got to keep playing to a better standard. When you win the opener, that's the only thing that really matters. There's been a lot of disappointed people today. A lot of disappointed people that got beat. And you don't get that one back.
So, Coach, what we see there is your post-game speech. What we do not see is the way the guys responded to that speech so far. What has that reaction been?
You've always got a mixture of feelings. Some guys are exhausted as they're sitting there. I'm tired.
Yeah.
Coaches are tired. And I've got to put what I saw for the players, because they're going to talk to the media, I've got to put it in the proper perspective in a very limited amount of time. And you've got to get their attention. So you know that they're young people. Some young people still are a little selfish and into themselves if they didn't get to play and they were excited about playing. Probably disappointed. You'd like for them to be happy about the win, and they are, but they're still disappointed that they didn't play. So you try to put it in the proper place for everybody. It is a win. We got things that we did really well. We can do better. No different than we talked about at the first of the show. You really try to tell them the truth, because they're smart kids.
Yeah.
And you can't fool them. And you try to do it as quickly as you can, because they're exhausted and you don't have their attention long.
So before we go into the game balls for some of the outstanding individual performances, how does the coaching staff go about deciding who gets honored in which different way?
Just feel like who made the biggest difference in the ball game. That's it. We try not to have many awards anymore. We've got 2 toughness awards. We've got a special teams award. And then you try to figure out what was the most significant thing that happened in the ball game. And we'll discuss that here in just a minute.
Yeah, well, let's get it started with the offensive game balls. Who do those go out to this week, Coach?
Obvious that the 2 running backs ended up getting about 280 yards rushing. Both of them did a great job. So Joe Bergeron, outstanding first game for him. He broke tackles, had a slow start, but he kept after them. He was relentless. And in the fourth quarter, broke through a lot of tackles and made a lot of plays. Malcolm Brown had by far his best performance too. Started the game really well and made some outside runs, made some fourth down run here for a touchdown, made some really good plays, but both of them were impactful in this ball game.
Well, we've talked a lot about it. A lot of those plays also set up by outstanding defense to get the ball back, very good field position. So let's give some attention out there to the defensive players. Who takes away the game balls this week?
When Wyoming's offense, very much like Missouri's, like we talked about, is spread out all over the place, your ends have to play really well. Alex Okafor, big-time defensive end. Here he comes inside the defensive tackle to have a sack. Jackson Jeffcoat, the other award winner, is right there with him. But also Alex is a guy that chased throughout the night to try to get Brett Smith on the ground. Here you see Jackson Jeffcoat right at the end, forcing an interception. Again, he's chasing the quarterback, Brett Smith, to get out, and here makes a tough play on the option.
Well, you also have to find ways to give attention to the offensive line. Unlike the defensive line, there's really no good stats that you go to. So this is more reliant on going to the tape and just with the eyeball test, who did the best. And that brings us to the Bevo Beast for the top offensive lineman.
They usually call these guys the big uglies because nobody ever talks about them unless it's bad. Mason Walters has been a great leader for us in preseason camp. He's in great shape. He's tough. You see him at right guard coming out and pulling. He buried the corner.
Yeah.
You can't even imagine that corner sitting there with him coming out and knocking him down like that. Comes out, again, knocks the corner out of the way. He was our Bevo Beast. He was our most outstanding lineman. Even though most of the offensive linemen played well, we thought he had the most physical, toughest, and therefore best performance.
Now, a year ago, it was David Snow who was getting out pulling a lot. What has made Mason Walters be able to be that guy this season?
Well, he and Trey Hopkins are both athletic, so they're both big physical guys that we can get on the corner and pull. Dom Espinosa's really athletic, so we've got some guys that can pull around and lead the back, which really help you on your sweeps.
Yeah, and it's just scary to see guys like Mason Walters that size downfield. You can give him a hard hat for some of the hits that you put on some of the secondary players for Wyoming, but when it comes to your defense, who gets the hard hat for the hardest hit that we saw against the Cowboys?
It was Carrington Bynum. We saw a big hit in a couple of different places, but Carrington Bynum had the biggest hit throughout the game right there, and we saw another one by Kenny Vaccaro later, but Carrington Bynum really lit up number 8 as he turned up, and that's hard. You just think of all those helmets in there. It takes a lot of courage to go in there and be as physical as he was.
Well, we also saw some guys that are usually with Bynum in the secondary also help out a little bit, or in the case of this next player, a lot when it comes to the special teams. Who was that, the special teams player of the week?
Josh Turner is playing so well on special teams that he's going to buy some some time on the field a lot more than he's getting. Great play here as he's covering a punt. He is the guy that's on all 4 special teams for us. He comes right back down here with Dalton Santos, who also had some big licks. Gets a guy inside the 10. So you have to give Josh Turner credit. Again, a lot of times you don't get the proper recognition that you really deserve when you're a special teams guy. But he made plays that changed this game.
And he plays in 4 of the 5 special teams, correct?
He does. He's really amazing with what he's been able to do. Really proud of him, and looking forward to him being an outstanding player at Texas in the future.
Well, an outstanding opponent to start this one off, Wyoming. I think a lot of people learned that this is a team on the rise, a team that could end up winning the Mountain West Conference this season. So with all